I'm going to go to John Yoo right now. Of course, you know John, the former Deputy Assistant Attorney General, UC Berkeley law professor, Justice Thomas law clerk, the whole package. We're honored to have him. So, John, I was doing a little research because I always have to do research when you come on. I can't fake it, but I try. Anyway, there are 15 or 16 states that are kicking around this idea of removing Donald Trump from the ballot. You know, obviously, Colorado was first out the gate through its Supreme Court doing so, but what do they other states then use as the trigger mechanism?
Neil, your research is done well, as always. In this case, that's actually the second Supreme Court that's heard this issue. The Minnesota Supreme Court actually turned away this challenge. There's going to be other courts, other secretaries of state are also considering this. For example, in California, out here, the Secretary of State is considering whether to bar Trump from the ballot. That's why I think the Supreme Court will intervene. And I think the Supreme Court will overturn the Colorado Supreme Court, because the last thing the U.S. Supreme Court wants is 30, 40 different standards about who gets to be on the ballot, who doesn't get to be under the ballot, when the U.S. Constitution actually sets out. You know, you have to be natural born citizen, you have to be 35 years old, you have to be a resident of a state, and this insurrectionist clause doesn't apply.
So if there are a number of cases still pending against the former president, including the whole January 6th issue, and if a conviction were to come down on anything that relates to January 6th, are all bets off then? Can Colorado come back and say, well, now he's convicted, and we're well within our rights doing this, and other states seizing on the same thing?
It's a really good point, Neil. There's two different questions here. Did Trump participate in an insurrection or not? That's you could say that's a factual question. The legal question is, even if he did, or even if he didn't, it doesn't seem to matter. The Constitution just says you can't run for Congress, you can't be an officer of the United States, can't be a judge or a military officer. The Constitution's text doesn't say the president. And the important issue here is every time the Constitution talks about the president, it says the president. It doesn't use one of these other terms. So Trump is going to say, it doesn't matter whether Jack Smith and the special counsel convict me of insurrection or being involved with January 6th. I'm still allowed to run for president. In fact, he could be president from jail. He could be president if he was a convicted felon.
So, you know, this is essentially what Colorado is using, or at least the court. It was along the party lines, I think a 4-3 vote. So the Democratic justices obviously voting for it, the Republicans opposed. So it doesn't take the politics out of this and the fear that there's a sort of a party-based cabal against the former president. And doesn't that ignite its own legal fire?
Well, actually, one correction. The one hopeful thing here is that all of the Colorado justices were appointed by Democratic governors. I haven't been to Colorado lately, but I don't think they've had a Republican governor in like 20 years or something. But the point is, even 3 Democratic justices out of the 7 thought this was going too far and that Trump should be allowed to run. But your major point, Neil, is correct, which is that the courts are inevitably being drawn into politics. I'm sure Chief Justice John Roberts and the justices of the Supreme Court would love nothing more than to have to say absolutely nothing about the 2024 presidential election. But as you've pointed out now, there's 2 separate lines of cases that are going to require the Supreme Court to get involved. One is this: can Donald Trump be on the ballot in all the 50 states? They have to get involved because they don't want 50 different standards. They don't want states retaliating against each other. Imagine if a red state said, I think Joe Biden's committing insurrection because he's letting in all these illegal aliens across the southern border, and bars him from their ballot. So that's one problem. And then you have the appeals that are coming up, as you mentioned, Neil, the immunity question, whether President Trump is immune from prosecution by the Biden Justice Department. That's coming up on a slower track. Actually, Trump is not eager for that to get to the Supreme Court quickly. It may be that the Supreme Court hears that, but it may not be until after the election.
Yeah, and if you think about it real quickly, I mean, you know, the former president lost Colorado, really at 13 points. But if this were to be extended to the 6 or 7 battleground states at which he presently leads, and several or all of them took him off the ballot, you would have more than just a constitutional crisis on your hands.
Yes, Neil, I think that's the point we should really focus on. As you said, Colorado doesn't really matter for the Electoral College equation.
Right.
Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Arizona, Georgia do. And those states all have still yet to say whether they think Trump should be on the ballot, but they're all efforts in all those states to get him disqualified.
Incredible. John, always learn a lot. Thank you very much.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.